Discovery of the Great Water Passage from ancient India to ancient Shu. Reveal the truth about Sanxingui and Jinsha civilizations in Sichuan, China. Episode 1. In September 2020, the second archaeological excavation was launched in Sanxingui, Guanghan, China, with unprecedented fanfare. More than 40 units across the country participated, including China's top Peking University, Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, China Silk Museum, and Sichuan Archaeological Research Institute. The media gathered and there were different opinions, but when several experts and officials pretended to be surprised in the video and said, Sanxingui is probably an alien civilization, it was immediately clear to me that these guys have colluded and decided to deceive the world. The current China lacks academic integrity and is solely profit-driven. Because I know that alien spacecraft cannot be made of bronze, it is too expensive. I left a message online at that time, such a statement is in the interest of everyone, but it is not in line with the truth. I am not an archaeology or related major, and I am just interested in historical geography. However, in order to expose the obvious shamelessness of these expert officials, I actually discovered a major channel for human migration and communication thousands of years ago. The discovery of this passage not only exposes the truth about the Sanxingui and Jinsha ruins in Sichuan, China, but also correctly explains many archaeological issues in the four southwestern provinces of China, Yunnan, Guangxi, Guizhou, and Sichuan. It also provides new referential insights into the migration and communication paths of Southeast Asian and China's various ethnic groups in ancient times. I now name this passage Tong Tong Road, my daughter's nickname. I often went to Guanghan for work reasons. I went to Sanxingui once, the first and last time. After walking around, I was left several impressions. First, the unearthed artifacts are not from China, but from ancient India or Mesopotamia. I believe this is also a common perception among many Chinese people. Second, those artifacts were all brought by ship. Because those exquisitely structured bronzes could not have been transported by land, and the site was right by the river, this is still strange to me to this day. For such an obvious thing, I haven't seen anyone mention it. No one even has such doubts, including so-called experts and officials. While this is the key node to crack the so-called magic of Sanxingui. But some people have said, these cultural relics do look like those from India, but the key is how did these things come here? Separated by thousands of mountains and rivers, it would have been impossible to transport it thousands of years ago. Third, those pits are not sacrifice pits, but waste burial pits. Because if it were sacrificial pits, they would definitely be located within tombs or temples. It's not plausible to dig one or several pits solely for sacrifices in one place. It's very obvious that the pits at Sanxingui are neither for burial nor for sacrificial purposes, but rather pits for discarding and burying waste. Why did they throw these items away? Because the people was forced to leave there to find a new place to live, and it was inconvenient to take these things away, so they had to throw away. Why did they destroy and bury these items? Because they did not want to leave them to others. Why were they forced to leave? Of course, there could be many reasons for this, including natural disasters and man-made disasters, but man-made disasters are obviously the biggest cause. According to subsequent reports, it was confirmed that the artifacts in these pits were buried at the same time. The artifacts were smashed first and then separately thrown into different pits. The burial time was between 1100 and 1000 BC, which is about the time when the Zhou dynasty of the Central Plains of China overthrew the Shang dynasty, 1046 BC. One of the main reasons for the change of dynasties during this period was the bronze smelting and casting technology at that time. Technology had made great progress, especially the improvement of weapon performance, which had led to an increase in armed conflicts. After all, it is difficult to attack a city with a wooden stick. This is just like the Warring States period in China 500 years later. The invention and perfection of iron tools greatly increased the frequency and intensity of wars among various countries, so it was called the Warring States period. The tribe in Sanxingdui probably also chose to flee under this general background. Sanxingdui is located in the plains of western Sichuan and is not blocked by mountains and forests, so conflicts between tribes are more likely to occur. There was a video a few years ago. A leader went to Liangshan Autonomous Prefecture to inspect work and asked the village committee secretary, "Why do you people always like to live on the top of the mountain instead of at the bottom of the mountain?" The village committee secretary blurted out, "Weren't we bullied by Yuhan people and driven to the mountains?" This reminds me of the fact that no weapons were found in Sanxingdui. The Harappan civilization in ancient India also had very few weapons, and no palaces or temples were found, and the non-violent resistance movement first advocated by India's Mahatma Gandhi. This continuous culture is not accidental. It originated from ancient India's rich products and extensive trade, especially coastal transportation with very favorable climate and ocean current conditions. Everyone lives a prosperous life and naturally loves peace. Here I would like to correct a common misconception in the field of history, that is, the invasion of the Aryans brought about the caste system. In fact, first, nomads cannot have a caste system because their production and lifestyle do not allow it. Secondly, the caste system of ancient Indians originated from their older production methods. The annual floods of the Indus River would cover a very wide area. The large and fertile land brought by the floods was only suitable for the production method of collective division of labor and cooperation. This is the earliest origin of the caste system. Third, the earliest Indian caste system had no discrimination and everyone's basic life was guaranteed. This is why the Harappan civilization had no offensive weapons. Fourth, crops were collectively produced and distributed uniformly within the tribe, which is why there are large barns at the Harappa site. Fifth, the hierarchical division of labor based on skin color only began after the Aryan invasion.